The jar before you may have looked opulent once, but no longer. Now it's covered in grime, its paint chipped away, and its jewels long stolen. The soul jar rocks slightly, light flashing from underneath its lid. On its rim, you can just barely make out the name Gratiana. As soon as you touch the jar's cracked surface, you see a vision of splendor, silks, fine food, and decadent lechery. But underneath it all lies bone and blood. The vision shifts. You see burning villages, slaughtered women and children. You see her, purging wand in hand, standing amongst it all. She throws her head back and laughter echoes in your skull. A shadow falls across her, and you see a large, weeping face. She reaches out as if to comfort, but Brachus drags her back. You see her fall into the mire of the swamp, trapped. As you pull your hand away, you can feel a deep, longing sadness in your soul. Is it regret, or just sadness for a life that used to be?
Lucky find.
The terrible vision fades.
While she lived a selfish life, she seems to have repented. She should be forgiven.
Whatever a person may have done in life, they can always be redeemed.
However her life began, it ended well. No one should be damned because of their youth.
This jar glitters and glows. With a jerk, your mind is pulled to a scene in a tavern. You see a dwarf in the center of the room, joking us all around roar with laughter. All bar the zombies, who are slavishly serving food and drink. The door opens, and a tall, beautiful woman stalks into the room. She's flanked by heavily armed guards. You can't make out her words, but see the fear in the dwarf mutters a word, and the undead lurch towards the intruder, but are cut down like wheat. The dwarf tries to run, pushing her friends into the woman's as she's dragged away to a tower. You hear her cursing Brachus Rex and his whore. Even when she's thrown inside and the door sealed, you can still hear her shouts. You pull your hand away from the jar, your head swimming. You can feel the dwarf's cold terror still twisting in your gut.
Good find.
The vision fades.
I've rarely seen such cowardice on display.
Keeping the dead as slaves. What a disgusting display. She deserves every punishment she got.
Being locked in a tower was more kindness than any necromancer deserves.
The jar on the plinth before you seems ancient, but is in surprisingly good condition. It's covered in pictograms that you can't understand, but you're sure you just saw one of them move. The pictograms spin to life, and you're dragged into a dream. You see the lizards of the ancient empire turning their backs on you, casting you out into the wilderness. As you roam, the human apes turn away from you, all but one. One smiles, one opens his arms, one says he'll take you home. Brachus Rex. He promises power, for a price. He picks off your golden scales, one by one, stripping you down to the bone. He promised you a crown, but all you got was shackles. You try to fight, try to reclaim what's yours, but a woman takes you by the hand and leads you to a tower. He promised he'd take me home, you cry. You are home, she smiles as she seals the door. This is where you belong. Your hand drops away from the soul jar, your skin prickling. In the back of your mind, you hear a small, scared voice whimper before fading to nothing.
Nice.
The long-dead lizard's visions fade.
This is the price of pride and greed. The villain got what he deserved.
No amount of loneliness excuses wickedness. He helped a monster for selfish reasons.
What he did shames his people.
The soul jar stands on its plinth, glowing softly. From within, you can almost hear the whisper of a voice. You see, or rather, you feel a far-off land. Frozen breath hangs in the air, pine needles brush your cheeks, and in your arms you can feel a weight. A body, dead. But you have hope. Your vision swims. You're older, but perhaps not wiser. You march at the head of a shambling host, the enemies of Brachus Rex melting before you. The scene twists again. Now Brachus stands before you, a beautiful woman at his side. You lash out in treasonous rage, but cold arms bind you. You're sealed away in a tower. Your screams fill the darkness. You feel a jolt and open your eyes to see the soul jar before you, lying still in the vault. Your hand falls from the jar and grips the pillar as you try to calm your ragged breathing.
Nice.
The necromancer's memories fade to black, but the feelings remain.
The memories of a necromancer. What could be more vile?
Anyone who marches at the head of an undead host deserves whatever punishment they get.
One must wonder how many more lives they took. How much misery the scum caused.
The deity's head and hands are missing, severed as if by a sword. You can't tell if this was meant to be symbolic somehow, or a mere act of vandalism. As you take in its chiseled details, you have a vision. The statue comes to life and embraces you awkwardly with its broken arms. Unable to resist, you're flown away into an endless dark.
That shrine seemed...
Oh, how pensively our shield looks down upon us. Dear me! It has questions, Quercus. Why, yes, I suppose answering them is the polite thing to do. Speak, shield! What are your queries? A giant body, but no giant brain, eh, Quercus? Surely, even the tall folk know that Rivellon was bare before the great acorn fell from above and seeded the Irwood, covering this land in beautiful, perfect forests. Beautiful and perfect until the giant races, no offense, realized they could use it to build their houses and fuel their fires. They carved the Irwood up, and the forests shrank and shrank. None of the original wood remains. But someday, the great acorn will fall again. The forests will be reborn, and the giant races will be wiped from this world. Oh, Quercus, it wants answers. As if it is the first creature to ponder the big questions of the universe. What tree did the great acorn fall from? Where did that tree come from, if not a greater acorn? Could you build a nest great enough to store the great acorn for the winter? Some questions have no answers. Quercus, why is that so difficult to understand? The great acorn will come. It will destroy the world, and squirrels will reign supreme forever. I fail to see what's so difficult to grasp. What do you say, Quercus? We once believed it was good, but now... No, quite right. As terrible as the giants have been to us, we do not want to see them wiped out. Rather, we must find a way to live together in peace, giant and squirrel. Although it would be quite a bit easier to get along if the giants would stop turning our home forests into spears and ships and things, wouldn't it, Quercus? Perhaps the shield will let them know as much.
The ethereal figure before you raises the visor of his highly polished helm. Beneath it, his handsome face is weary, yet his eyes burn fierce and bright. He glowers at you with disgust.
You pray not at my shrines. Can't say I'm surprised. You, my most wayward cub.
He spits over his shoulder, folding thick arms across his steel-bound chest.
You don't recall me, do you? I am Ralik, prime among the seven, and father of all humans. Father of you. I preferred you as a child, pious and devout, remember? I called you to follow me, and so you did.
Ralik gazes at your upright form, a contemptuous frown creasing his face.
Look at you now. My child, a killer for hire. You can't hide. I see the dead who whisper your name as they pass the threshold of the halls of echoes. And who's to blame? I know you blame the gods. But what blame can the gods take for the actions of men? The gods didn't make you into a mercenary, but nor did the gods make you refuse to kill that elf in Fort Joy. Oh yes, I know about that. You're a paradox, Ifan. And who's responsible?
He stares deeply into your eyes. As you gaze into his deep green eyes, you feel your whole consciousness following. You notice every shade of stone within, from iridescent emerald to flecks of grey. The verdant pools encompass you. There is nothing else, nothing but Ralik's eyes. Suddenly, a vision coalesces. You see yourself, the bright and zealous crusader you once were. You are breathless, scouting through deep forest. You are racing with a message of utmost importance for the elven people. You make it to civilization. Too late. An explosion devastates the beating heart of the elven city. Ancestor trees thud to earth, strong trunks crack even louder than the horrified screams. A fetid miasma pulls the air. Gasping on the fumes, you are dragged to safety by a wolf who appears out of nowhere. He pulls you free, clawing an elven woman who gets in your way. She collapses, wheezing under the choking dust. She clutches your ankle with her hand, gripped tight as of ice. As you reach down to help, her hand falls away, lifeless. Through the haze, the death fog, you see her dead eyes, black and staring. Through her lifeless eyes you fall. You see them, Legion. The thousands slain that day, those you were too late to save. The hundreds slain by your own hand since then, mountains of corpses and rivers of blood. You see the motherless children left behind, the scarred slaves sold to the highest bidder. Choices you made, contracts you took. The army of the lost gaze at you silently, their loathing and reproach palpable. Encased in pitch black of deadest night, you know not which way is up and which way down. Vertigo spins your senses as you see the consequences of each choice you made, one damning choice after another. The guilt you tried to escape from lies here, bare, throbbing. It was waiting for you here all along, in this filthy chamber at the base of your rotten heart. Your pain pulses, ebbs and flows, undamned. You widen your eyes, striving to see further, but a stinging slap drags you back to reality. Rallick stands before you, gimlet eyes hard now. He slaps you again, harder.
Pity won't bring them back. Nothing can bring them back. But you can yet come back yourself. Long ago, you turned your face away from all that is light. Turn back to me, and you could yet save others. Could save all.
Rallick slaps you again, full force. He stares into your eyes with challenge.
That's what I'm looking for. That Crusader courage. The courage to stand up for what's right.
Rallick punches you full in the face. You feel a familiar sensation as the delicate bones of your oft-broken nose give way. He catches your arm in one vice-like fist and dangles you above the ground. He laughs and shakes you like a rag doll. You feel rage surge within you, barely containable. Feel it electrifying the blood in your veins, pumping through you. You feel like yourself. Rallick smirks and rises to his feet, wiping your blood from his now scarlet armor.
That's it, Ben Mez! That fierce spark of zeal is why I chose you, why I saved you from that sinking ship. You tried to hide it behind apathy, but the light shines through. Embrace who you really are. Why did you become a Crusader in the first place? You heard my call, not Lucian's. So fight for me. I need you. The Seven didn't abandon Rivlon. We are trapped here, powerless and squabbling. You, ruthless son of humanity, you will be my champion in the world. You are my God-woken. I will grant you my blessing, fierce wolf. It will aid you on the path out of this place. And then, we will have words again.
Rallick steps towards you, solemn of face and bearing. He raises his right hand and presses it upon your heart. A surge of warmth and well-being rushes through you.
You may have noticed I've tried to help you on your journey. I blessed the water beneath your feet so that it would aid you. Now, you have the power for yourself. And this is only the beginning. More and greater powers await you, if only you will seek them. Only one like you can wield them. Now go, God-woken. Go with my blessing. Let it remind you always of who you are. My Crusader. In time, I will ask more of you. But now, your goal is simple. Survive. Escape the grasp of those who would imprison you, who would break you, who would limit your true potential. My child, you and you alone must rise above the reach of minor people. But before you lope away, let me ask. You are traveling with company, yes? Watch them well, then. For they are dangers as much as any Magister. They are your rivals. They are God-woken too. But you are the one who will be a god, none other. Keep your claws sharpened and your eyes bright and keen. See everything from two sides. Take the wolf that saved you, that follows you so dutifully. Watch him. The wildest animals often turn and bite the hand that feeds them. Oh, And Losa, that pretty little one you think of at night. Kill her now. And be done with it. Until we meet again, my child.
Blessed branches, we've returned. Every second we spent in that hellish place was a second the great acorn drew closer. Interesting. You thought it was interesting, Quercus? Do you know what's interesting? Watching an entire world be strangled by the roots of doom, seeing the giant races fall like leaves in frost, hearing the screams of... I don't know what you're talking about. I am perfectly calm. Anyway, as interesting as that cold hellscape might have been, it does not solve our problem. We are here to stop the great acorn, not hide from it. It's already helping more than it knows, Quercus. The fate of the world depends on our ability to research a spell to protect Rivellon. We need to travel across the land, gathering clues, experimenting with different magics, and come up with a spell to shield Rivellon from its doom. Of course, for us to do that, we must avoid being eaten by the servants of the Great Acorn. And that is where our big, foolhardy shield comes in. Quercus! Quercus! It thinks it can use magic at our level. I don't know if that's adorable or just sad. No, I am not going to share our magic with it. I don't care how much you like it, Quercus. Very well, I cannot give it magic, but I can teach it how to forge one spell, if it will keep you happy.
The squirrel reaches out, touching your foot with a delicate paw, and you feel your mind open. You can see the forces of magic and see how to combine them in a new way.
There, maybe now your pet will have a fighting chance. Yes, yes, you're welcome. But can we please get on and save the world now?
Sibyl is pensively tracing a new name on her arm, gilded letters in an ancient alphabet.
Sure, it's nothing really. My own name. A little gift from Tactician Mode. Leave it to a god to be overly dramatic. Must be a celestial party game. Or maybe he wanted to teach me a lesson. If the latter, he has much to learn.
smell? Burning. Are those pigs on fire?
Put it out! Put it out! Put it out!
The pig is engulfed in flames, but her skin remains unsinged.
Does it matter? I beg you, help! Are you sure it will work? How do I know it won't make this even worse? Okay, but I don't think... Yes, I have endured this for long. I can't endure longer. But please, please ease this burden, I beg you. It is the doing of Brachus Rex. Kings will always come to see themselves as gods. I should never have spoken ill of him. Many ages ago, we dared warn of Brachus Rex's gluttonous cruelties. We paid the price with these porcine bodies and the curse of eternal flames. Praise means nothing. I would reject it if it meant a chance to turn back the clock and worship Brachus Rex as he demanded. Bring it to an end. I will trust you with this. But please. The flames are extinguished. Thank you.
Yes.
The menacing skeletal guardian looks at you wearily, then yawns.
So you dare defy the will of Brachus Rex, prepare to die, and so on and so forth. Let's get this over with. Precious. I hope this brings the discussion to an end. I don't like being roused from slumber, only to be greeted by such banality. I was a loyal servant of the Source King. I carry out his will in death as in life, and all that sort of thing. Now, can we get down to the fighting? I was enjoying a lovely dirt nap before you helped those heretical pigs. It's dark and dirty, though still a paradise of a sort. I cannot say what nightmares or delights await the fully dead. In a few moments, I dare say you will discover that information firsthand.
She moans impatiently and taps her bony foot.
Yes, I know he's dead. I am still obligated to perform his wishes. He may not live, but the threat of his curse hangs over me. It is as you say. In any case, no curse could possibly be worse than this droning drivel.
Be on your...
The guardian chokes on her words, as if strangled by an invisible hand.